Hearthstone pro, but here he is back in his more comfortable role as a coach for his esports organization.
There will be the LeBlanc ban right off the bat.
Yep.
Not too surprising there. What will SBENU be looking to take out of the pool? Obviously, a lot of priority for this team on Gragas. If they can get it in that first round on the red side, I'm sure they would be quite happy. But just again, looking at how they lost to Samsung, they did get a nice dive off of a lane swap in that first game, and they may look to abuse that again if they can find it. But Samsung recovering quite gracefully in that particular situation. Again, Samsung, I felt that from watching their matches in the qualifier that their main strength right now is just their turret control, their objective control, and they've been able to make some comebacks.
So there was a conversation at the Prime House earlier today that went like this: what should we wear in the booth during picks and bans? And someone else said, how about a shiny, pale, flesh-colored coat? And they're like, yeah, great idea. Here we are.
All right, Sejuani actually banned right here. But Eve is one of those junglers that hasn't been really playing to the Cinder Hulk meta as much as most other players. Like we said, stuck with that Nidalee for a long time, still really likes to make those. He's a very duelist-oriented jungler. He has that very unique build on Nidalee where he'll go machete straight into tier.
Well,
and it will be
gets through.
First pick Azir. Again, Crown known for his Cassiopeia, Azir, and LeBlanc play. And with Cassiopeia banned, feels comfortable taking that Azir. Obviously not worried about Sasin possibly playing Zed into him, even though he'd have to blind pick it anyway. So Gnar hovered over by Soul. Maokai, which we saw as such a high priority pick in our last match, not being taken yet. And they may prefer just to get that range versus melee matchup if they have it in the top lane.
Potentially taking this Vi. I mean, the top 3 popular junglers are not available right now, so we're going to see some interesting stuff in the jungle this game. Catch mulling over his options.
Should be mulling over Elise. That is not a great pick right now. Sivir Maokai. Very powerful priority picks, and that's what they're going to lock in.
You can always pick that jungler later. I think that's a good choice. So we'll see if Eve plays this Lee Sin. Might go back to that Nidalee. Or Nunu, still available too. See it a lot with the Azir.
I think the Nunu pick here is quite good. Obviously, they already have the Azir, so you've got a lot of synergy going there. Samsung did play the Azir-Nunu combination in the qualifier as well, and it was just about their zoning on turrets, and SBENU was too slow to react to the turret pressure. So if I'm Samsung coming in here and I can get champions that I can really just push down turrets quickly with a Nunu, I'm going to go ahead and take that. They can take Lucian here just fine. Fury obviously very comfortable on that champion. There's the Janna for a little bit more disengage.
And for some really powered up AD carries as well too with that shield. Adding that AD.
Really good way to take down some early turrets. So it seems like Samsung just coming in with the same game plan that saw them to a victory in their best of 3 against SBENU in the qualifiers. Could take the Lee Sin here. Again, that was a pick that has seen some resurgence.
Yep. And are we going to see the Bard? I feel like we're going to see Bard at some point during the season. But it's just such a hard champion to work into team compositions. Hard to use it well.
So, by the way, we are on patch 5.8. I was misinformed about the patch we were on, which I figured out as soon as Zed was not taking 1 second to return to his shadow after Death Mark. So the Lee Sin is a bit of a riskier pick under these circumstances, but they're going to take it.
Oh, well, Nautilus is cool too. And so the final 2 picks for Samsung now.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the Lucian here. But they're trying to make plays again in the early game. You have to make this Lee Sin count. Hecarim's still available. It has been one of Kuve's best champions. Hecarim and then Lucian. I can easily see being the picks.
Looks like it certainly might be. You never know, too. This could be like a mid-Lee Sin and a jungle Nautilus for SBENU as well.
That would be quite surprising.
Well, I've learned to be unsurprised by surprises here.
So what is SBENU going to do? They're in a little bit of a bind right here. Sasin, I'm not sure if he is going to be up to the task of playing Zed here. And if they play Kassadin, they run into a situation. Okay, they're going to play Fizz, actually.
All right.
Well, this is dangerous. Not great wave clear, and how they lost last time. Why I was saying the Kassadin was risky is because SBENU just had their turrets kicked in by Samsung in their last matchup, and so by playing Fizz, you're running with limited wave clear besides this Sivir, and that Sivir can be bullied out by this Janna Lucian lane at least early on. Also, very little wave clear coming in from the jungle, so I don't know about this. Samsung, I think, has a pretty nice way to win this game as long as they can continue to put on the pressure, which shouldn't be an issue given their composition and Eve's recent propensity for staying in lane and just sitting there in blood-boiling fury and then following him around the map until all three outers are dead.
Hey, that works.
It did work.
It's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting season for Samsung as well, too, because they're not the rookie team anymore. You know, now people are looking for these guys for some development as a squad, and I think already from picks and bans, they're showing that they're interested in expanding kind of their repertoire. They're not just that crazy all-in fighting team that we saw at the beginning of last season anymore.
Well, to be fair to Samsung, they also weren't even the worst team in the league by the time the season ended. I think that honor belonged firmly to Incredible Miracle.
Definitely. Well, we'll see who takes game one. Samsung versus SBENU Sonicboom. Let's get in the game. And here we go. Welcome to Summoner's Rift for our second best of 3 of the night. And I've got a feeling that Cuvée is going to be heading back to base very soon because he has not bought items yet. He's just so excited to get out there. He's like, yeah, we're back. Champions is back. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to throw a ward into try. Uh-oh. He's going to realize, like, right now. Yep.
He got a trinket at least. Now, I'm wondering
he did get the trinket.
What he is going to do right here.
Yeah,
because
he might
there
just
may be a weird plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes with Hecarim, if you do that camp early with Smite, I mean, we've seen situations on Hecarim where you buy Flask, and then you do a jungle camp, and then you go back and buy Cloth Armor, or something like that. So he may be waiting to see what his lane is, but I somehow think he's just going to go back and
yeah, there we go. Yep, get the Flask. Yeah.
Okay, but he's not probably going to not buy anything else, because if he is in a lane swap situation, that Cloth Armor is going to be quite useful, especially if he has to go back to the jungle and jungle for a little bit. Whereas Cloth Armor, obviously, against Maokai, not going to be particularly awesome for him, but they're trying to anticipate a lane swap because of the fact that SBENU played the lane swap better last time, so they can be confident doing that. And, of course, the Samsung fans still here. The Samsung fans are really diehard, by the way.
Yeah, they are. Like, if you...
Fury so Fury-T, I guess.
Whatever. Whatever, Samsung fans. It's okay. Yeah, but if you're looking for hardcore League of Legends fans in Korea, Samsung is definitely one of the craziest, in a good way. Looks like they're going to give the big Krug over to Fury. Yep.
Yeah, going to go ahead and clear the Krug camp right there. Now they know Lee Sin is starting over at that blue buff.
Yep.
And lane swap has commenced, so no freeze here for Samsung. This Crown looks to bully out Sasin early on. Now, Nautilus is going to go ahead and check over at the blue buff, see if he can... Is he actually... No, he's not taking damage. He's going to do the small camp here. This is really annoying for the enemy jungler, because that little bit of XP can really slow them down. Now, there was a Wolf Spirit right there, chasing him around a little bit. But you want to take these two small golems because it makes it very difficult for the jungler to level up off of this camp. And Catch may go ahead and take that blue, but very quick dragon. So what we've seen so far, no freeze from Samsung, quick shove into the turret, followed by a dragon. Now they knew that their blue was being taken, so they're going to go ahead and sacrifice it. They'll be happy to make that trade. Eve not really needing a blue buff. Of course, with Nunu's passive, you're going to get a lot of free spells anyway.
Right. So a good adaptation by Samsung. They're not phased at all by losing that blue. Cuvée may be like, well, I wanted that blue. Well, too bad, Cuvée. You can get the Gromp.
And get the Gromp he will.
That's right. Kind of sounded like an insult when I said that, huh?
All right, now the question is,
get the Gromp.
Are they going to dive this on the next wave? Sol was able to TP into the bottom side, and they saw Hecarim over at the Gromp, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to break that freeze quite yet. So he's just going to recall, and then will he TP or just walk into lane? A bit of a difference right here, but Samsung definitely looking to go ahead and fast push this a little bit. Sassen, that playful trickster, gets a bit of damage down. Luna's still here. It looks like they're trying to reverse this and just freeze it out at the moment after picking up the dragon.
Oh, a little bit of damage onto Sol. Luna does not connect with that whirlwind. Yeah, Crown getting a nice little CS lead early on, but you do expect Azir to be a bit of a bully in lane early.
Yeah, especially against this Fizz.
Yeah.
Not too surprising at all.
Yeah, I have to be really careful kind of bouncing around the Sand Soldiers.
Meanwhile, Cuvée does spot out the Scuttler right there already taken. Will be doing a bit of counter jungling in response. So Cuvée ahead in CS, despite the fact that he just isn't going to lane. Instead, helping out Nunu. A bit of the counter jungling, and Ketch isn't going to find too many camps right now. His topside jungle already cleared out. Now his Raptors cleared as well. And he hasn't been able to make any plays with this Lee Sin, although still early in the game.
Well, you know, that's the power of that Nunu, too, is you can get in and invade and take so much of your enemy jungle.
Well, especially with the smite, too, on the top laner, Ketch is going to be losing a lot of camps if this continues. It's like Samsung has chosen to push this wave in the end. Lee Sin is there waiting just to make sure that there isn't any diving. Sol can go ahead and pick up a lot of that experience in CS. And finally, we may see a return to the top side, and Cuvée at 5.5 minutes into this game will hit the lane. Eve is there as well. They want to break this freeze.
Yeah, picks up that skirmisher saber really quickly this game, too. Wanting to be able to fight as easily as he can.
So here we go. Easy clear out right there. Eve just patrolling the tri-brush, making sure that there isn't going to be too much of an all-in attempt here onto this Hecarim. And so both teams playing out this lane swap pretty well, actually. Different styles, but making it work. Samsung still with a slight advantage. That blue steal, of course, not really worth the dragon that Samsung saw earlier. So nice to see Samsung cleaning up some of those situations that cost them.
Wow, Sassen taking a lot of poke from that one Sand Soldier. Man. And Sol able to still get a decent amount of farm down in bot lane.
I'm a bit surprised that we see Luna hanging around bottom side so much right here. Now with the freeze, Fury should be able to handle himself, and that should open up Luna for some more roaming. And the counterplay against this Lee Sin is very important. Yes, they did get some nice wards onto the top side. And look at the play too. Eve actually opting for a sight stone before even upgrading his machete. So they're putting a premium. They know if Ketch can't make plays early on this Lee Sin, he's going to be irrelevant. Here we go.
Yeah, Crown ulted by Sassen. Here comes Ketch as well too. They're going to have to push him back into turret. Eve helping out quite a bit there, and there's just not a lot that SBENU can do.
Yeah, he used his barrier on that. Didn't see fit to try and make some sort of flashy play with the Emperor's Divide, instead just playing defensively. And
yeah,
I think Samsung knows that they have this tremendous scaling advantage this game. I mean, they've got a blood-boiled Lucian and a Azir, as well as a Hecarim with Smite. So
it's interesting, though, because Patience isn't really a talent that Samsung had in the past.
Nice forcing the flash right there on Sol, and that's true.
Yep.
You know, they haven't played well in the late game.
Methodical is not how I would describe Samsung as of last season, but
look at how they're playing. Eve, that jungler who traditionally has liked to play aggressively, this time going for the least aggressive, most vision-centric build possible, and just attempting to shut down the other jungler. So this is, I think, a bit of a different style than we've seen previously from Eve, and shows some development right here, and certainly he's making it work. Now they're trying to take the blue buff again.
Yep.
Second round, keep it away from this Azir, and
Looks like they can.
4 people there. There's not really too much
Yeah.
that Samsung can do.
Crown doesn't seem too hurt by this anyway, so I don't think he's quite as worried as some of the other mid laners are a little bit more blue buff dependent would be.
Now, Samsung has allowed this Maokai to really get ahead in terms of farm, though, because they've been a bit indecisive about whether they want to freeze or whether they want to push this turret, and Janna has been staying around on the bottom side in spite of that, not really helping or doing very much at all. So they need to make a decision about whether they want to fast push this or whether they want to freeze it. Well, the decision doesn't have to be made any longer because we now have the 2v2 right as this dragon's about to spawn. So SBENU swapping back into the bottom side for that control at the appropriate time, but really deep wards going in the interim as they see Maokai in the top lane.
Wow, this is probably already the most methodical and well played out early game I've seen Samsung do.
I'm quite impressed by Samsung, what we've seen. Another dragon immediately on it. Look at the timing, too.
No
right
kidding.
after it spawns, 6 wards in the enemy jungle. They know exactly what's going on. Kube is standing around in the far back from the minion wave, waiting to TP if necessary, where he can't be interrupted by Soul.
Yeah.
And that is an easy dragon for Samsung.
Yeah, this Samsung team is looking a bit different in a good way. And it's only the first 9 minutes of the first game of this season, but already they're really showing a lot of poise that they didn't have before.
Yeah, I really felt we saw this in the qualifiers as well. What impressed me was how well this Samsung team was adapting to being from behind and figuring out a way to get back in the game. And here's Eve again, just standing in lane, blood boiling fury.
Well, that works.
And now they're going to fast push the mid tower. So they've identified that this Fizz still has very low wave clear, only a couple Doran's rings, and they really want to take this down from 50% to 0. They've got great siege, and they have that Azir along with the Blood Boil. They already have the BF sword, so this should be pretty easy for them. This is great play from Samsung.
Yeah, I think they're going to get this mid lane turret too. It looks like SBENU might want to fight here. Catch coming in as well. They have the ult onto Eve. Not the most ideal situation here. Catch getting very low though. Eve as well. That's another kill. First blood for Fury as Samsung disengages. Nice heal from Luna coming in. That's a double kill now for Fury, and they just absolutely destroy SBENU in that team fight. They lost Eve, but getting the double kill onto Fury along with that first blood gold is pretty huge.
Well, they were so ready for that
in
the end. Look at the wards they have at the bottom side of the map right there. So they knew everyone was coming up, ready to take that fight, and they played it out well. And they're going to get the turret.
Oh man, the knockup onto Saucin. Can he get away with Playful Stricter? Fury flashes in. Another kill, this one going to Crown. Oh, Samsung looking really good in this first game so far.
This is very crisp.
No kidding.
Now, like I said, this is the same style of play that we saw from them in the qualifier, so I'm wondering how deep their pool of strategies go, but it's for sure that they're very good at executing some of these fast push strats.
Yeah.
And they're keeping it up here tonight. So,
well, the communication seems really good too. You know, just in that last fight to have the whirlwind loaded up to hit Saucin right as the turret went down too, and then they transitioned to the kill. It was very smooth.
You know, it is worth noting that Samsung, in spite of their tribulations in the last season, did retain the old coach from Samsung Blue. And that's a coach that, you know, if you think about Samsung Blue, that was a team that in 2013 was pretty laughably bad.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to catch Eve here. Even a little bit of trouble using his ult. Getting kicked back again. They're going to use 2 ults on him, actually. There's a knockup. The shield from Luna might be enough, but here comes Saucin to try to finish things off. He's going to use his ult. So there you go. Now 3 ults used to take down Eve.
There's a miscoordination of timing there between Luna and Eve on getting the wards in. So they walked into a dark jungle. He walked into a dark jungle by himself and sort of got what he deserved right there.
Will this lead, though, to possibly an easier objective for Samsung because SBENU doesn't really have the ability to fight it too much?
Let's see what they choose to do with this. Blue buff is up right now for SBENU, and Catch did have to go back. He will be building Cinder Hulkleys in this game, so his late game contributions are going to be pretty minimal.
Cinder Hulk Lee Sin. Okay.
But look how much this opens up the map. And Fizz somehow has to figure out how to get over to this blue buff. Yes, they have the vision right there, but they have no pressure in mid or bottom. There's the turret going up. It's so hard for them to take this blue and live.
They're going to try. There's a knock-up on the catch.
Had to take it on to catch.
Yep.
So they couldn't transfer it over. So Samsung just playing this big pressure game.
Yep. I mean, denying it from the mid laner and putting it on a jungler that doesn't really need it is almost as good as taking it yourself.
I really like what we... yes, Eve has died a couple of times this game, and that last kill in particular wasn't too great. But look again, they're already loaded back up. 4 men pushing this turret. There we go.
Go in after Survive, pushes Secret back. Nice play from Crown to give Fury another kill there. Wow.
And Fury has really been hard carrying this team too.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is the player you want to hard carry. Now Fury, we know, is an extremely good player in solo queue.
Oh, Culling used. Nuclear has to pop his ult just to get out.
Wow, look at this too. Just healing up right there in front of the turret. Can't quite take it down, but Fury is a player who spent most of last season with 2 accounts in the top 15 in Korean solo queue. So his mechanical skill has been there. It's just been his team coordination and synergy with his teammates that's been a bit lacking, but they figured out this strategy that works, and it's not like Samsung's going to get less powerful either. An early gold lead and this level of control is so valuable because Hecarim and Azir are going to scale like crazy into the late game, particularly with the Nunu there to amp Azir's damage up even further.
Now, Cuvée is a little bit behind in CS to Soul. It's about, well, quite a bit behind, actually. But you do have to keep in mind, of course, with these Smite top laners, never mind, to catch onto Crown getting completely caught out there. Whoops, that happens. But going back to Cuvée, you have to understand some of the CS's jungle camps with more money attached to them, so.
Second time we've seen a Samsung player walk into a dark side of the jungle with very little respect for where his opponents could be this game. So
it does happen, I guess.
Yeah, Samsung not respecting that vision control as much as they should.
Well, Dragon back up in about 5 now.
And no Azir there for this fight, however.
Yeah, looks like they might have to give it up.
Well, also
We'll
no
see.
wards from SBENU, like literally
you're
none on the bottom side of the map. So it's very dangerous for them to walk in there, and they don't have ults.
They can just push Sasin away a little bit here.
You need that Fizz ult if you want to fight this one.
All right, just pushing up the mid lane again.
About enough time for Crown to revive and head back down, and now the pings are coming in.
Yep, they see that recall. I mean, the warding is so good in the enemy jungle for Samsung that they can take another essentially free dragon because they just know they're completely safe. 3 dragons already at 16 minutes.
Holy cow.
And 2 turrets ahead in kills. Yeah, what a game so far for Samsung.
Yeah, again, some silly mistakes from Samsung, but on the whole, their strategy is really coming together. And that is sort of an echo of what we saw in the qualifiers as well. They would make some really silly individual mistakes, but as a team, they would figure out how to win the game. So if they can eliminate some of these individual misplays and couple it with this strong teamwork that we're seeing, they're going to be a much better team this season.
So far, so good in game number 1 anyway.
Yeah, if we think back to Samsung, what was their big problem really? It was that, oh, there's a smite.
Stole it.
Their problem last season was that they really they couldn't figure out how to play compositions properly. And they didn't play with a whole lot of cohesive strategy, but it's definitely not the case in the last couple of weeks. Cuvée.
Oh, Cuvée might be getting dove here. We'll see if he can get away on his ult. He's trying to make something happen, but there's the ult from Sasin as well. Moving back again. And nope, not able to get the turret to do enough damage. Nice aggro juggling on that turret from SBENU.
Yeah, but at the same time, choosing not to use his ult right there, it would appear, holding it to see if he could make a play with it after he comes back up, knowing that he was dead regardless. And in the meantime, Samsung continues to push forward 2 lanes right now, gets a turret, and looks like it will be a 1-for-1 trade in the end, but they're going to lose a lot of CS to that mid lane.
I suppose that's the thing, you know, is if you see that you're going to get taken out, you might as well just make it last as long as possible. Let your team get that top lane turret.
And you can still maybe make a TP ult play right here. As we see the home guard's already completed for Kuve, even though, again, he is falling pretty far behind in terms of CS, so Soul will be getting tankier and tankier. But that said...
Oh, they might be catching people here. Eve finds Tucson, and actually, SBENU just on the run now. Sonicboom.
Okay.
Another blue buff.
Keep this away from Sasin one more time.
Yep, Sasin moving off to the side. He's going to try to flank here. It looks like they take the blue buff, and they get out just in time. So no fight opportunities in that narrow corridor for the SBENU Sonicbooms, or just SBENU
Sonicboom. It's not like
no S.
It's not like the stealths, though.
Stealths.
I know we're
That's
used
right.
to random plurals on our Korean teams that have airplane-sounding names.
It's true.
But it's just the Sonicboom this time. They are a singular Sonicboom. It's because they're together, Doa. They're all together in the Sonicboom plane. Wow!
Whoa! Oh, and the flash from Secret gets out of Emperor's Divide, but trading a flash for an ultimate. Not feeling too bad. Although Crown used his barrier and his flash there too, so getting a bit overeager.
Yeah, it was a bit of a preemptive barrier right there, trying to make the play and anticipating what would be coming next, but instead, Secret does manage to get the fast fingers on the flash and taking a huge amount of damage.
Oh,
okay.
He got the crit. Wow.
Yeah, wow indeed. I mean, he already has that zeal there
Yeah.
in addition to the Infinity Edge. So what is Samsung going to do with this? They're pinging down onto the top side, wanting to do something. Sasen.
Well, they're going to try to catch Soul here, it looks like. Soul, yeah, has to teleport back to base. It's a nice little edge for Samsung, as they'll have that teleport advantage now for a few minutes.
There we go. Just going to go ahead and take this Scuttle Crab right there. The question is, do they know they have the TP advantage?
Well, they were heading up to try to find him initially, so I would imagine, yeah. They know he got out somehow. Hard to say, I suppose. Dragon up in a couple minutes.
Well, Sasen has all the kills right now on the SBENU, so he's really going to have to carry this game. Built the Sheen after the Morellonomicon. Now it's like he may be going into Hourglass as his next item.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Kuve is going to go ahead and help that blue buff go over to Crown. And Fury just going to take red, I suppose. 1 minute till Dragon now, and SBENU really wants to take this one. So if they let Samsung get up to 4 Dragons at like 22 minutes,
it's going to be a pretty much, well, yeah, pretty much an impossible game to win at that point, because the 5 Dragons red is just absolutely enormous at that point, and Samsung's composition is just going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and they have so many ways to deal with Fizz.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just sit there in absolute zero and dare him to Playful Trickster into your team.
You know, the thing is, too, is that Samsung's not overreaching at all with this. They're playing very safe, very methodical at the same time.
Vision control has been absolutely ridiculous this game. And
yeah. Dragon in 30. Samsung just needs to patrol the little area boards. Oh, Secret getting bursted down, and they get the knockup. Do they get the kill? The culling! Oh, it nearly takes him out.
Yeah, but they got enough right there, obviously,
Yeah,
that chunk.
definitely.
Hugely important. Again, Fury managing to hit a nearly full channel culling right on the support. And how are you supposed to fight after that in that 4v5 now? They're going to be easily able to refresh their wards, use their lenses, clear out absolutely anything, and man, Dragon is completely dark for SBENU.
Yeah, this is being a pretty one-sided game so far in favor of Samsung, as they're going to take another unopposed Dragon. This is a completely, it looks like a completely different Samsung team.
Their level of coordination is much superior.
Crown, I mean, I know you can't read too much into one game, but he already looks better than both Bliss and Ace.
Go. Righteous Glory used right there. Are they going to turn this? Sasen on the side, looking for that flank, but I don't think that Samsung wants to take that risk right now. They're happy just to continue poking and defend their turret.
Fury's getting a little bit crazy here.
Yeah, I love watching Fury play Lucian, though. That's a bit of a waste of an ult.
He was like, I want to get knocked up too. Getting locked in the back lines, will he an ult off? He does. Flashes back. SBENU chasing this. Yalt on the Eve. They're going to get one kill at least. Meanwhile, Soul comes in the backlines, gets knocked back out by that Emperor's Divide. Saucin way deep, manages to get the kill onto Fury here. Now he's going after Crown. And so SBENU not quite dead yet, winning the little skirmish in the jungle there at least. But
yeah, Cuvée a bit late right there to the party, so they actually do manage to get some nice kills. Saucin picks up yet another one, and Lee Sin in the mid lane will take out the turret. Saucin looking for another one. Saucin did kill Fury with the damage over time from Fizz, just barely taking the kill, and that'll propel SBENU to a slight gold lead in spite of the 4 dragons already under Samsung's belt.
Well, and that's when you have to talk about the value that these dragons give that just isn't shown in gold. Let's take a look at this fight, though. Eve tries to get behind it, just gets knocked up himself, and takes so long before he can actually use his ult.
Yeah, Crown also has a lot of weird sand soldiers, like in that brush right there that Cuvé's trying to get to, so Eve moves forward, but in his flashback, and there's Fury just going down to the damage over time. Meanwhile, Crown backs off with his sand soldiers, and that'll secure another turret in the end for SBENU.
Yep. So they're even on turrets. They're 1 ahead in kills, but being down at 4 dragons.
Going for Cinder Hulk into Trinity Force. This is a very aggressive Hecarim build, one that we rarely see. You either do Ignite and go into that Trinity Force first, or you take Smite and then build tank after the Cinder Hulk enchantment is complete. So he really just wants to get into the back line, one-shot nuclear, and then have his team clean up from there. But he needs to be playing these fights differently in that situation. If you want to go for an aggressive build like that, you have to get the home guard teleport flank, because you can't play frontline in that situation. You are basically dedicating yourself to clearing out the back line immediately, and you're just not going to live if Nuclear's able to get a couple autos on you.
You know, Samsung's just got a lot of burst in general this game.
They do.
Result, things like that.
But they have to coordinate better about these setups, because Cuvé's current positioning and his team getting into these fights isn't really helping out.
I find it interesting that Cuvée was like the only lane that they didn't find another replacement for. I suppose they didn't for Eve either, but it really looked at the end of last season like Cuvée was going to be fighting for his job here, but so far he seems to have it locked down.
Yeah, I don't know who you take to replace Cuvée, though, because his solo queue performance has been really good. Again, he's another Samsung player that has been consistently in the top 20.
Well, that's the puzzle, right? Is it seems like on solo queue he's very strong, but when it comes to actual professional matches, he's struggled quite a bit.
I think with Cuvée, though, we did see some clear improvement over the course of last season.
Yeah.
So
he certainly is getting better.
And some of these fights, too, have been Samsung playing too far forward and not giving Cuvée a chance to actually set up right there. So Samsung getting caught out just a bit, and Fury will grab the red buff slowly as it releashes multiple times.
He just wants to savor the moment, you know? He's like, the red buff. All right, traps a fighter on Baron here. Crown trying to take out a turret with that Sand Soldier. It looks like he'll get it.
So SBENU really needs to work on their vision control, though. In terms of wards this game, it has been clearly dominated by Samsung.
Oh, yeah.
And now SBENU trying to bait this Baron, pings furiously going down.
Maybe they can do it. They jump onto Eve. They kick it back. There's a culling into the enemy team. Eve gets off a little bit of an ult before going down.
Wow, Crown really preemptively ulted right there, trying to cut off the choke point.
Yeah.
And now they are going to find themselves probably baited once again right by this Baron as they take out 2 wards right in the mouth of the pit. And there come the sweepers. Wow, 1 sweeper gets 3 wards. That is a huge benefit. So now they can bait, just do the same thing again.
And Samsung kind of has to check it. I think there's going to be a whirlwind going in there, though. Yep. There it is. Knockups.
Oh, the
that was
flash
a close call.
Anchor there. Not able to connect. Fury checks it with his W.
I like the effort, though, you know? If you're going to go all in on something like that, totally throw out the flash anchor. Well, about 35 seconds now until the dragon comes up again, and this would be dragon number 5. So SBENU needs to be very careful in the immediate future because they cannot give up this 5th dragon. If Samsung gets the 5th dragon at sub 30 minutes, it's going to be
Kube,
really hard.
Kube has his Trinity Force now.
Yep.
So he can actually really effectively deal with Nuclear. And there is Secret.
Oh, Secret gets caught by Crown, and there's a kill. Now, Emperor's Divide was used.
Every time Secret gets caught out and takes huge chunks right before these dragons hit. So, SBENU just hasn't been able to contest a Dragon 5v5.
Oh, they find Catch. Catch nearly caught. Meanwhile, the Azir turret does go down, but Dragon is up. And so can SBENU win the 4v5? Here we go, Righteous Glory used. They're going to jump into Crown the back lines. Immediately Luna pushes people back with that ultimate. Kube getting chased around, but it's splitting up the SBENU team. That's allowing Samsung to come in from behind and win a pretty easy fight. Goodbye, Sasin. And it looks like 5th Dragon went to Samsung. Oh boy.
And now, do you go ahead and take the Baron here? Kube's already recalling. He can come back in with full HP. They're slowly ticking off these wards, and now they're just going to go for it.
Yeah, they're going to take out the Baron really quickly, too, as you can see. SBENU coming in, teleport just to make sure that Kube can help out a little bit. There goes Baron.
Got the Baron right there, even though he used his smite, and there
Culling.
we go, another culling.
Look at that damage on a Nuclear, the flash ahead. Fury can't quite get the kill, but it's all about pushing people off of these objectives. Man, that is some damage.
And look at that
Whoa.
dash forward from Fury. This is why, remember, last season we used to watch Fury's Lucian. He's just so aggressive on this champion, even through the Nautilus ult, constantly moving forward and maximizing his damage in this team fight. I'm so glad to be seeing him playing, to see him rather play this champion again, because it's always a pleasure.
Man, well, no pleasure on the side of SBENU as they're getting pretty rocked by Samsung right now. Look at all that damage. And Secret's like, no worries, I got you.
Oh, he's nailing him in the end.
Yep.
Fury with a 100% kill contribution rate for his team so far in this game. Now with the Baron, already with 5 Dragon stacks here, so early on in this game.
So what objectives are they going to push here? It looks like the bottom tier 2 is the first priority, getting what's farthest away from Baron. If you get a choice, it's a good one to go in.
Well, I think this pick was definitely a mistake. Again, they know how they were beaten by this fast-pushing style of Samsung in the qualifier, and they just sort of walked right into it again.
That's the thing. Oh, meanwhile, wow, Kube solos Sasin. Did I just say that? Kube solos somebody? He's been better since the Cinderhulk meta's come out.
He also has 5 Dragon stacks in the Baron buff.
Oh yeah, that helps too. That's true. That's pretty nice. Wow. Come on, Miniwave. All right, and Blood Boil on Fury. Fury is absolutely terrifying right now. Look at all that damage. Oh, man.
They just chew through these towers so quick. You have an Azir, you have a Blood Boil.
Yeah, they're moving to the mid lane now, and there's really nothing that SBENU can do about it. Let me get a couple inhibitors out of that. This is a culling again, and it still even does so much damage to the top lane. Are you kidding me?
Well, he is dealing a lot of true damage to the top laner with that 5th Dragon stack as well. So Fury's just going to pop over the wall in a very methodical destruction taking place off SBENU's base.
This is just disgusting, man. Wow.
I mean, they are doing 30% extra damage to towers right now, so and then when you start popping Sand Soldiers on them.
Yeah. SBENU just trying to hold on for dear life at this point, but I think it's pretty close to over.
Indeed it is.
Yep.
Well,
the Dragon buff is gone, though.
Yeah, some of these buffs are wearing off.
Yeah, Baron is nearly gone. But Samsung's still very strong regardless. Here we go, SBENU, last-ditch effort. Movement there to use that ult to put people back. Emperor's Divide creates that space again. Sasin doesn't hit anyone with that ult. He's going to get taken down. Meanwhile, Fury already in the back doing damage. He is a one-man army at this point, taking the turret and taking apart SBENU Sonicboom. The only Sonicboom we're hearing is from how fast they're running away from Samsung.
It's pretty fast if we're hearing a Sonicboom.
It is. It's about as fast as you're ever going to go. And at 32 minutes, Samsung is ready to just crush the life out of SBENU here in game 1. Wow. This series may not be quite as close as the last one. There it goes. GG. Game 1 is over.
Wow. So Samsung again, capitalizing on that same strat that we saw in the qualifiers. And they're so good. I mean, the vision control was quite solid. They were always lined up, well coordinated around that dragon.
Yeah.
Now they did have some of those individual misplays, walking into some dangerous territory, not exactly respecting the location of their opponents when they didn't already have wards in there.
Yeah. It feels like during the postseason, Samsung said, all right, let's just get back to basics. Let's work on vision. Let's work on not overextending. Let's just be methodical. And so, yeah, just going for fast pushing strategies.
Yeah, it's going to
Good
be
way to
fun.
do it.
It's going to be fun